This is TWiT.
This episode of Tech Break is brought to you by ACI Learning. Enjoy elevating your IT skills with IT Pro from ACI Learning. Get exclusive access to practice labs, tests with real-world simulations, hands-on experience, and test preparation. Learn the way that works best for you. Visit go.acilearning.com/twit to transform your talent with the best-in-class education from passionate experts.
I think this is pretty cool. This is certainly news that a lot of people have been waiting for, because we've talked about two-factor authenticator apps in the past, definitely on this show. I use Authy. I don't know if I'm supposed to out myself with that kind of information from a security standpoint, but I've used it primarily because it makes it easy, because of its cloud syncing, to like switch from device to device. And, you know, I use a lot of devices, and so that keeps things easy for me. Google Authenticator, I probably would have used it if it had cloud connectivity, because it's a little closer to the Google thing, but they haven't had it. Meanwhile, Google Authenticator has been around since 2013, I believe, so a very long time to not have this feature. Highly requested. And what am I getting at? Well, they finally added it. Two-factor authentication codes now sync with the Google account. And this is actually pretty cool, because when you set up a new device, once you log into that new device, the authenticator will be automatically set up with your account as well. So kind of makes,
which I got to admit, as somebody who uses Google Authenticator, and every time I get a new phone, I have to go through the process of migrating my Google Authenticator codes and accounts to the new phone, right? And honestly, it's not a bad process. You just need to have both phones, and it opens up a QR code. You open up a QR code on the old phone, you scan it with the new code, and it's added. But account syncing and clouds, cloud management and stuff like that would be welcome as an authenticator user. So, and we went, I feel like earlier this year, Jason, we had the 2FA, the 6 weeks of talking about 2FA, and everybody promoting Authy because of this function. And, the only defense I had for Google Authenticator is that I've been using it for years, and it's the one that I've got all them loaded in, just being too lazy to migrate everything to Authy.
Sure.
So now I don't have to. Yay.
Well, and I think it's a very good point that you point out. It is not incredibly inconvenient. Like, if it's as much as pointing, a QR code and bloop, your accounts are there, great. Where this becomes a really big deal is if someone steals your phone, or you lose your phone, and that phone has all of your authenticator, your two-factor authenticator codes via Google Authenticator on it, and there's no syncing out of it. You have to go through great lengths to kind of get there again. You could actually find yourself in a really bad situation very quick. So it's kind of surprising to me that this hasn't happened sooner. Burke, you were definitely slyly hinting for the video viewers, the headline or the subhead on the Verge article that mentions, something like this, greater, convenience comes added risk. And that is, of course, the truth, right? The easier, when you intermingle security and easier to use, you're usually kind of reducing the layer of security, or reducing the amount of security you have when these convenience features are added in. But it's always a balance game. Like, are you willing to take on a little bit more risk in order to keep these things a little bit more secure, or a little bit easier to access down the line?
Yeah, that's always the thing with these kind of systems, where the more convenient it is, especially with kind of syncing, it does end up kind of reverting back to a single point of failure. So if someone can break into your Google account, muy malo, but you should be taking extra steps anyway. And we've talked about some other kind of Google account like issues where you should just kind of maybe just reevaluate your Google account, security, and make sure it's super, super tight, especially since we rely on them for everything. Also in this article, it says that account syncing is indeed optional. So if you're feeling like you don't want to, if you're okay with like the manual process and you don't want to add that added risk, you don't have to. You can say no, thank you.
Good point.
No thanks.
Yeah, and you better say thank you, because these are, at the end of the day, it's robots, and we want to set ourselves up for a soft landing later.
Yes. Yep.
So, yeah, thank yous are
robot overlords.
So, yeah, that's good news. I know it's going to make a lot of people happy. We've heard about this. I do, I don't know how many emails that we've gotten throughout the years about this like cloud syncing 2FA and Google Authenticator issue. So we won't be getting those emails anymore, apparently. That's okay. There's other things to email us about.